Get hype. Hey, I'm Doc, and this is PopCast, a crowd-sponsored yo-yo show. Thanks to my sponsors on Patreon, Greg Knowles and Jeff Atwood for making this show possible, and all the rest of my sponsors, not just those two, everybody. I love you. Today, I'm here with Colby, who's visiting from Modesto. He's visiting the Secret Alley. Colby, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah?
How about you?
I'm doing well, man. You brought a yo-yo here that's crazy.
Yeah.
You were telling me about this last year at BAC 2018. What is this?
So, I just sort of wanted to just combine all of my favorite things and things I thought looked cool into a yo-yo, and this was basically the birthchild of it. I just thought, well, I like double-rimmed yo-yos. They look pretty cool and feel pretty good, so why not just take it a step further and go triple-rimmed?
I heard you like rims.
Yes.
So,
the two biggest inspirations for this yo-yo were the CYW Chief and the One Drop T1.
your yo-yo is one rim better than the Chief.
Yeah.
It's on. Yeah. CLYW. It's time to do quad rims, or
I actually thought about that. Just remove the nipple and just make one more.
What's the name of this?
This is the Moose.
The Moose.
You cut this in half, it looks like antlers. And the moose moose in real life are the biggest antlered creatures.
Uh-huh.
And this is a 58 millimeter diameter with a 45 millimeter width. So it's a fairly large yo-yo. So the yo-yo is big and moose are big too.
I've made a few yo-yos. I usually work with
One Drop.
factories like One Drop, or I work with companies in China. You are doing something different, I assume, because you only have 5 of these.
Well, I got a machined by Magic Yo-Yo, but my next run of prototypes, I'm most likely going to do them in the USA. Usually,
when I do a run of yo-yos, the minimum is maybe 50 if I'm working with One Drop, and maybe 100 if I'm working with someone else.
Yeah.
I want to hear your whole design. Like, first off, how did you design this, and how did you actually get it made? What were the steps?
Originally, I was just sort of drawing stuff. I actually brought some of my original drawings too. This was the very first design.
Like a death metal band logo or something.
That was the very first sketch. I was bored in science. And then this is what a more realistic version of it came out to be.
Dude, that does look like antlers.
And then this is more or less, everything's hand-drawn, so it's kind of hard to get exactly. This is basically what it looks like now.
So you started with hand-drawn sketches, and you kind of did iterations on those. And these are the sketches of how the yo-yo looks when it's cut in half, which when we're designing in CAD, usually that's what we would do. We would just kind of draw out the shape. Oftentimes with One Drop and folks like that, they start with the guts. They have like a CAD file that's just like,
Same, so like the response pattern, the side effects, if they do that.
Like all that stuff that just works, right?
Yeah.
So then all they're doing after that is just building the shape. So you started with kind of that same profile, and then when you turn that profile into a 360, you get your shape here, and I can see these two.
Yeah.
So once you had this sketch, what did you do?
So I'm fairly bad with computers, and I talked to one of my friends we hung out with at Cal State. His name was Ethan. I've always just dreamed of just making a yo-yo, so he decided to help me out. And then eventually he stopped keeping in touch, and I'm not sure what happened. I hope he's okay. But then
Ethan, let us know if you're still alive, buddy.
Yeah, so I started talking with another guy who helped me out, and then we just got this made, and then I talked to Magic Yo-Yo, and they had them made, and this is where we are now.
So Magic Yo-Yo, where are they based at?
They're based in China.
China, yeah. And they have their own line of yo-yos, but they also work with folks like us who may know what they're doing with CAD or may not. This is what we would often call like a back of the napkin kind of sketch. Like something that we envision, and then someone turns it into a 3D object.
Yeah.
So they did that part for you.
Yeah, so they're a big manufacturing for yo-yos. Like they make a lot of companies yo-yos. It's a very big manufacturer. So this was, I thought, the best way to go about it. I ordered a batch of 5 because, well, I'm not old enough to have a job, so money kind of comes a little slower. So I got the minimum amount I could, and honestly, I don't need any more than 5. I probably only really need 2 that are at least smooth, so I can get the idea of my concept.
So you did 5, and you've been selling them. You even made this this really cool art with a moose. And the logos is all hand drawn. This is fun. This is the fun part of kind of making a yo-yo is the accessories and stuff too, I think.
I've drawn a lot in my life. I like to just make everything my own. I don't necessarily like having to have everybody else do what's like mine. So everything I like to come up with is my own. I designed this logo.
Would you consider this the final yo-yo, or do you think there's going to be changes?
No, I definitely want to make some changes. It's most likely just bias, so I'm going to get some feedback from you and people at Cal States next week on how it plays. But it doesn't really play like I thought it would. Like, it plays, if not better. I basically just sort of wanted, like, the Chief and T1, because I personally think these have some similar feels. And this sort of has a similar feeling, but it feels different on its own.
So there might be a full run at some point, but at the very least,
the plan.
You kind of made some for yourself. Like, you had a dream yo-yo and you made it. So that's what I would call like a vanity project, which is totally fine, right? Yeah. Like, you had something you wanted to make, and usually you make them at scale. You make it kind of a 50 or 100, but you have your dream yo-yo here, or you will next time.
Yeah.
And if you make more or not, it doesn't matter, because you've got at least
I've got at
5.
least 1. Yeah.
That's dope. This is awesome. Thank you for sharing this project. If people want to learn more about it, how do they get in touch with you?
Right now things are still just going like small, so you can go to Victorian Yo-Yos on Instagram.
Victorian Yo-Yos.
No space. Oh, no caps.
Cool. Let's do some tricks.
All right.
Cool. Come on, hit that little whip. In. Bam. You were asking me to kind of guess at how heavy it is.
Yes.
I guessed 56 grams, and you said it is?
It is about 72 grams total.
Which is heavy, right?
Yes, this is very heavy.
I want to show you a rejection. It's one of my favorite rejections. If you're not familiar with rejections are basically tricks where you use the spinning of the yo-yo to kick the string. Oftentimes it's going to be a dismount, but then oftentimes the string is going to get pushed into a direction here. You had a dope rejection you were showing me.
Yeah, so this is a Takeshi Matsura trick. He's one of my favorite players. And you just reject it, and it's like a double whip. And then I get out of it a different way. But
that is dope. That's a cool rejection. We're going to focus on an easier rejection.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is the push trapeze, although it doesn't end in a trapeze. Well, I guess you start in trapeze. So this trick looks like bam. And I kind of like to cheat it a little bit when I do it by getting my thumb in there, but you can do it without. And the basic setup for this trick is your left hand is going to be in a trapeze, or your non-yo-yo hand is going to be in a trapeze. Your right hand is going to go behind and push, and that's going to kick the string off. Yo-yo is going to kind of travel in front. The string is going to go all the way around, and you're going to try to land it in a green triangle. So we were doing this. Left hand goes behind. Now you can, if you want, just kind of like kick forward, but what I like to do is kind of really do a skinning motion. So my right hand pushes. Yeah, and you've got that little hoop going around. So then the next thing, once you've got that, is to go around. Check my left hand. Let me know if it's rotating, because maybe it is. It is. My left hand is rotating. Yeah. I never realized that. It's going this way, and then I catch it. And like I said, I do tend to cheat it a little bit, where when it whips around, it's actually caught on my thumb.
Yeah.
And then I drop it.
Wait a minute. I'm watching you do it, and do you start with your fingers curled inwards like this?
Yeah, actually, I think I do that while I'm going. So I don't start with my fingers curled, but I guess, yeah, I might as well.
You end with them curled.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a thing I didn't notice there. So we're definitely curling the fingers in this way as the trick happens.
Yeah.
And I'm actually pretty sure that this trick is just kind of a rip-off of an existing rejection, which was basically here. The original version, which was trapeze and going around, I just found it easier if I did that little skinning motion, plus got my thumb in there. So here's the thing I think I might be doing is I think about where my thumb's going and catching my thumb in there.
Yeah.
I actually think I'm getting my thumb in there pretty early on. So I'm rotating a little bit.
Yeah.
My thumb's going in.
Okay.
I mean, I'm actually doing that mid-air, but if you wanted to break it down, you could just sort of put your thumb in there, and then you've got that bigger opening. Okay, so Colby just said he's got to work on his routine for Cal States in Chico, so I'm not going to waste too much of his time.
No, don't worry.
But you've kind of got the idea.
Yeah.
Again, I think there's probably more subtle things going on than I possibly could have imagined with this. But I'm going to show you just one more variation on this, and then one more rejection I really like. So, like I said, this is the push trap. You can also do it backwards into the pull trap, which is bam. And so that one is going to be the same thing. Instead of going here, you're going to go inward and catch.
That might be easier.
Might be easier. If so, I'll be super embarrassed.
And you just get your hand here.
Yeah, in towards your belly.
And then you land it on the front.
And
on the back.
Yeah, on the back. And you probably still, I definitely still rotate my hand when I do it. So for the pull trap, you're still set up here, and for the pull trap, you want to go on this side.
I see what to do.
There you go. Pull it towards you.
You land on this ring.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
In the future someday.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, right?
And then I can...
Rejection. Burr, 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 burr.
I basically never do this, but yeah, so you kind of reject this.
Whoa! Bam. That was cool.
It's not my trick, it's Justin Dower's trick, but still, it's just another rejection into a whip.
So there's one more rejection here. We've done the push, we've done the pull, and the final one, this one, maybe this will be the easiest one, is a wrist mount rejection into a green triangle. So that one is just like however you like to get into wrist mount. And so you're in this position, your right hand's going to go forward, your left hand's going to pull back.
And then, so you're rejecting this string here, right?
Yep.
And then, what are you landing on?
So you are going to go around, and this hand again is going to continue kind of around.
Like this. And on top?
And yeah, you should end up on a trapeze, or a green triangle. So
should I have a twist in it?
You should have, that's right.
And then front or back?
Yeah, good question.
Front.
So, trapeze, rotate, catch. And I think you might be adding in just a little bit more motion than need, but I could be wrong. I'm just sort of like rotating on a plane.
Okay, so I'm sort of hopping it up and then rejecting it.
Yeah, and so I'm like, if it was like a ball or something, I'm just sort of rotating the ball a little bit. So, well, Colby, thank you so much for hanging out. We worked on the push trap, the pull trap. You showed me a dope trapeze. You let me play with the moose, which is super fun.
Yeah.
Let's go back and talk more yo-yo.
All right.
Walk, 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 walk. That was fun. I really enjoyed learning that particular trick that we just did.
Yeah.
That was a fun trick.
It's pretty cool. It took a little while to make, but.
Well, thanks for joining me, dude. I appreciate it. Check out Victorian Yo-Yos on Instagram for more information. If you want to follow along with some of the tricks that we talk about here on PopCast, use PopCast Yo-Yo, hashtag PopCast Yo-Yo on Instagram. And check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/DocPop, to help sponsor the show. Each month we give away a yo-yo. I'm not sure what yo-yo is going to be this month that you're watching, so you have to go to patreon.com/DocPop to learn. You also get a coupon, 10% off of yo-yos from my site, including the Weekender, which I have
Wait,
new...
that's the Weekender?
I'm sorry, Icarus. Thank you. The Icarus, available in 2 new colors on the site, drpopular.com. And if you sign up on the Patreon, you get 10% off. And depending on when you watch this, you might be able to buy a Weekender, because these will be coming out soon. They're first off going to my Kickstarter backers. Did you back it on Kickstarter?
I don't have the money. So
NBD, man. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate
you.
it.
And adios.
Adios.
Bye, Jeff.
Who's Jeff?
Coding Horror on Yo-Yo Expert Forums. Jeff Atwood.
Jeff Atwood.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.